and welcome to the 5th round of the 50th Doeberl Cup. It's Saturday afternoon here in Canberra and we've just witnessed a round which saw a number of the favourites fall. The first to fall was Zhao Zhongwan. The Australian number one withdrew from the tournament due to illness. He'd almost withdrawn before the first round, had played on. After one day he seemed to be better, but this morning woke up in extremely bad shape and took the first flight back to Sydney. So he is out of the tournament and Australia's main hope of winning the title is gone. So in his absence, the foreign players dominated. The top seed, Leventa Vijaya, looked very impressive in beating Akshat Kamparia, the player who had won the Sydney International Open last year. But two other Indians fared rather better. Rathnakaran beat Deep Sengupta, his compatriot. The Grandmaster Deep Sengupta was probably winning the game, but Rathnakaran hung on and went on to win with a nice combination. The moment that Sengupta will regret can be seen on the demonstration board. Here, Sengupta saw that if he played knight takes d5, black would take the knight with the queen, and the checkmate threat on g2 would prevent him winning the bishop on h6. Instead, he should have realised that he could have played knight takes e6, and after bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop, or if bishop takes bishop, knight takes rook. Everything's winning for white, and Sengupta would have been equal leader on 4.5 out of 5 instead of Rathnakaran. So Rathnakaran joins Vijaya on 4.5 out of 5, and they are also joined by another Indian player, Karthikeyan, and he won a very good game against Amador Rodriguez. Karthikeyan had declined an early draw against Amador Rodriguez, but Rodriguez had launched a big kingside attack, and in this position, had he played rook to f7, the result would have been up in the air. The knight on d4 is a fantastic piece for white, controlling the bishop on b7, but all other pieces for black are reasonably well placed. Instead, black played knight f4, the obvious move, and was hit by queen f5. Suddenly he has no choice. He has to exchange queens, and then black's position is a bit of a wreck. The knight on f4 has to move. It moved back to h5, knight e6. Now Rodriguez's last trick, playing d4, attacking the f3 pawn with his bishop. If either rook is taken, bishop takes f3, check occurs. But very calmly on move 40, Karthikeyan played bishop e4, and after bishop takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, Rodriguez had time to think, and he suddenly realised that there was no escape. The bishop on e3 is not under attack because of the pin, the rooks are forked, and black has no counterplay. So Rodriguez resigned, the Grandmaster's first defeat of the tournament, and this put Karthikeyan in the lead on 4.5 out of 5. One other game that attracted a lot of interest was that between young Bobby Cheng, the 15-year-old from Melbourne, and Attila Czebe. Czebe had been on top for much of the game, certainly had been a pawn up, but Cheng had defended well, and in the position you can see, it looks as if Cheng is finally going to reach the desired result of a draw. But Czebe had one more throw of the dice. He played the surprising pawn to c4 check. If you take with the king, then knight f4, though that probably still doesn't win. But after bishop takes c4, knight check, king up. Now, of course, Czebe could move his knight away, but he took on c4, king takes, and played king e5. Probably at first he thought he was winning. Certainly Bobby Cheng thought he was winning because Czebe offered a draw, and here Cheng thought about it for a while. He had about 10 minutes left. He only spent a few of them before accepting. He decided that after king e5 he had to play king d3, and after king f4, king d4, e6, he was going to run out of moves. If he brought his king back to d3, black will play e5. If he plays king c3, the black king comes in round the back and he gets tied to the e-pawn and loses. The only problem is, in this position, what Cheng had not seen is he can play f4 and he is simply winning. There are various other ways for black to play. They're all winning for white. The pawn ending was in fact a win for Cheng, and had he not agreed the draw, he probably would have found that and won. So a lucky escape for Attila Czebe, and a pity for the 15-year-old from Melbourne, but he's still performing extremely well in this tournament and could well become an international master at the end of the event.